First item I'm using is Strobe Cream by MAC. I'm going to rub this all over her face, and I don't have to be that gentle with her because she's my sister and we don't really care about all these different protocols. So I'm putting that all over her face, and then I'm putting a foundation on her that's very long lasting. This is the L'Oreal Pro Matte foundation. I like to place it on with a brush first instead of my fingers so it'll get all over my fingers. I put a Snapchat about that actually. And then I'm blending it out with a Real Techniques beauty blender type product. This is going to make sure that the foundation really lays on nice and thin and a really good layer. And then I'm putting that all over her face. The one thing I will say is that on the top of her forehead, it's much darker than anywhere else on her face because that's usually where the sun hits her. Anything underneath this area, I'm just going to put foundation on top. And anywhere else on top, I'm just going to leave it blank and not worry about foundation. For the concealer, I'm actually using a highlighting pen from MAC. This one's Bright Forecast. It's a little light, and she did tell me that. She's like, Susie, I don't know, it's a little light. But I just went with it anyways because I was looking at her makeup and I just pulled a bunch of products. I didn't really worry about anything, so it was fine. But for the most part, this looked okay. I would say that it was a little bit light, but it's not baggy. So we just put that on, and then we put some of the Rimmel Stay Matte powder on top just to set the under eye area. For the base of her eyes, I'm using Soft Ochre Paint Pot. She looks so relieved right now because I just said that I would give it to her. She's been asking for it forever, and I thought, why not? You can have it. I'm actually looking for another base, but if anyone has suggestions, please let me know. Then I'm just going to put a little bit of powder on top to remove any of the stickiness that comes with that paint pot. So I'm quickly going to do her brows. She uses the same products as I do. It's the Duo Powder from Anastasia. And I'm just going to quickly brush through them with a small angled brush. And what I wanted to do was something more lighter, but we decided way later, and I already pulled the product, so it was too late. But I'm just going to use those to make her eyebrows look a little bit more full and just fill in any sparse areas. This is a product I haven't used for a while. This is that NYX wax. I just warmed it up with my fingers and then brushed through them with the wax on both sides, and then I used the spoolie to kind of brush the hairs over top. This just makes sure that her hair is really stuck to the shape they were supposed to. They're pretty, her hairs are really thin, and so if we didn't do this, then their hairs would kind of be all over. Now I'm using a face powder. This is a Shade Stir Contour Powder by MAC, and I'm just using that on the crease color. I love to use kind of bronzy colors in the eye area because it just goes well and it doesn't really need anything different. I'm actually using a blush for her eyes. This is Hot. Actually, I'm not sure what it's called. It's so tiny. I think it's Bahama. I could be totally wrong, but it's from the Balm, and it's their blush that looks very similar to NARS Orgasm. I'm putting it all over her lids and then blending it. And I'm using Pearl from MAC. This is a pigment, and I'm putting that on her inner corners to really brighten up the area and just to make it look really angelic and pretty. Then I made her curl her eyelashes, and I put some of the mascara on top. This is a NYX Voluptuous Something Volume Mascara. It's great because we're going to put lashes on top anyway, so it looks fine. So it really doesn't matter what it looks like. And I'm putting that on the bottoms as well. Then with the same bronzer, I'm putting that on the perimeters of her face because she does have like a really strong tan. The perimeters of her face really do need to be kind of shadowed and contoured. Not really for the contour's sake, but really just to kind of make it look more natural. So we did that all over around her face. They're wispy lashes actually. But while the glue's drying and getting tacky, I'm using that same blush and putting that on her cheeks to add some glowiness to it. I did want it to look very dewy and kind of glowy and pretty, so I didn't use a matte lip blush with this at all. Then I'm adding this pigment from MAC. It's one of their highlighting powders. They had two, and this is a tanner one. They're discontinued now, but I'm putting that on the base of her cheeks and her cheekbone. I'm going to put on her lashes, and I'm putting this as close to her lash line as possible, so I had her close her eyes. And shame on me because I didn't measure these out. These are already in her kit, so I didn't cut them, but I should have cut them because the one lash was a little too long on her eyes. So just be sure that you measure out your lashes before you put them on. There were some fudge ups on this lash line, so what I did is I just used some of the eyebrow powder and lined a little bit of it on top. I put a little bit of that eyebrow powder on her lower lashes to really kind of complete her look. She had to pinch her lashes, maybe act all diva-ish. Just kidding. And then we just finished off with a lower lash. Then with that same vanilla pigment, I'm using that on the very tip tops of her cheekbones just to add a little bit more of a highlight on the face. You might not be able to see it as much because this is a very strong natural lighting, but it really is so pretty on in the real life kind of image. And I use my finger to add a little bit more on the nose to create that button nose and a little bit on her cupid's bow. Then for her blush, I'm using the ColourPop blush. I can't remember the name of this for the life of me. I have it in my collection, so I have to look at it. But this ColourPop blush is really cool. I was into it. Then I'm using a NYX lip liner. This is a color that is very similar to a red color. Just a little bit, a tinge of pink. And I'm lining her lips with that, and then adding on top of it a ColourPop lipstick that I got to play with as well. And it was so fun because she had a lot of products that I've never used before, so this was just me playing around with some items that were brand new to me, like all these ColourPop products. Oh, it was so fun. I got to take some with me. And then we wanted to make sure that her lashes were on tight and remain curled, so what I do is I kind of take the lashes and tighten them, and it feels so much better. Then she got to feel herself just a little bit. But this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that this was something that was fun to watch me do somebody else's makeup again because I know you guys are into it. And we'll see you later. Bye.